everyone. Welcome to hypnotherapyschool.net. This is our YouTube channel, and I am Kira Schaefer, and with me today is
Todd Schaefer.
And we're going to talk to you about setting your prices as a clinical hypnotherapist. So, Todd.
Bam!
Let's talk about pricing.
So the first thing you might be thinking when it comes to pricing as a new hypnotherapist might be, oh my God, what do I charge? So here's how to answer that question. So there's a lot of things that go into pricing, right? Now, if you're listening to this audio, you can keep this as simple as you want. I mean, prices are just whatever you want to charge, right? You might want to charge modestly. You might want to charge a lot. I mean, if you're just getting started, you might want to go a little bit lower just to encourage new clients, kind of thing. But if you want to vet it a little bit more, just to make sure that you're charging a fair amount that clients should be paying at minimum and what you deserve to be making it at minimum, then you might want to vet it a little bit more with a couple of different things. Like, for example, your pricing is going to be somewhat based on your location, right? If you're doing business in San Diego as a hypnotherapist, the cost of living up there is a lot higher. Right. So everything is just going to cost more, including hypnotherapy. So if you look up, go to Google Maps, for example, and look up hypnotherapists in that area, and then compare the prices and see about what they are. If you wanted to, you could take an average of let's say 10 hypnotherapists in the area, find out what their average price is, add the same offering, or like their same hourly offering up, and then divide it by 10, and then you've got your average price offering. Or if you wanted to take a smaller sampling, just look up 3 hypnotherapists and see if they're about in the same range, and just take those 3 numbers, divide by 3, and you got your average price for that area. Obviously, the more you pick, the better sampling of a price point you're going to have. Let's say it's $100 an hour, right? That's probably low, actually, for San Diego. But then you compare it to some rural place in the Midwest, for example, where there probably aren't a lot of hypnotherapists, because it's a little bit more of a urban therapy, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Specialists tend to be around cities more than rural areas, I guess. Mm-hmm. That could be a speculation, but things in the country are a little less accessible is the point. So if you're in a small rural town, if there are any hypnotherapists at all, they're probably going to have lower price points to reflect the cost of living in that area compared to a high cost of living area. So the location really determines, to an extent, what people might expect to pay. You can charge whatever you want. The question is, are people going to pay it for the area that you're in? Yeah. If you charge on the low end, doing hypnotherapy in San Diego, that might be too high for doing it someplace in a rural community in the Midwest, for example. So. Right. So be mindful. There's no right or wrong way about it. It's just, what are the best practices? And that is, take into account what area you're living in, and if you can, look up similar services and find out about what they're charging. It doesn't mean you have to charge that. It just means what people are going to probably be expectant to pay if they do come to see you. And if you are in a more, let's say, rural community or a smaller town, people might not even be familiar with what hypnotherapy can do, and you might have to be spending more of your time educating people in order to sell to them. Right,
like doing meetings or, at Rotary clubs and all different types of networking things to help people learn about what the benefits are.
Right. So educating may be a necessary part of a marketing strategy, depending on where your business actually is located. So there's location. Another example is, and this is if you really want to keep it super duper simple, is just figuring out for yourself. You can use a piece of paper for this and just decide, okay, write down what feels like the lowest price you can possibly charge and still meet the needs, your financial needs. Let's say it's $75. You write that down, $75 an hour a session. How does that feel? That feels pretty low, but I think it's okay. And then, okay, how about, let's try it, let's go one lower just to see. Okay, how about 65?
And it's like, oh
no, I can't do that. Okay, so that's your mind, that's your psychology telling you 75 is the lowest you can go for charging. And then do it again on the high end. What's the highest I can charge and be comfortable? Well, $100, that feels pretty good. 125, maybe. 150, no, that's too much.
Right.
And then you can dial it down and maybe find out that $110 is the highest number that you feel comfortable with. So there you go. You got a range of 75 to 110. So what you could do is just pick a 110 could be your regular price if it's a one-off session, or less than that, whatever, 105, 110, 100. And then if you want to do like packages, for example, you can offer discounts for buying multiple sessions at once, because you're probably going to work with clients more than one time, and then you're going to incentivize them with a discount. Is a good way to do that, so long as
it doesn't go below your bottom.
It doesn't. Those discounted prices for a single session within a package or however you sell it never goes below that $75. So you know that even if you've made discounts, you're still making what you know is the absolute lowest that you still feel good about before it's too low, and that will appease your psychology and your self-worth for getting started. Just to kind of, you're actually literally bookending what your prices need to be just to get an idea. So that's an overview of a couple different things that you can do. You can make it more complex if you want to, or you can simplify it even more. But those are a couple of ideas off the cuff for pricing.
Yeah, and some of the things that you can do as well is do some value add-ons, which I think is really valuable. It's something we definitely will teach you at hypnotherapyschool.net.
Oh yeah.
That is one of the things that I found to be very helpful is we would do a conference, we would add on, to one of the large, like 12 packs we would sell, and we would give them access to the in-person live conference that we did, if we happen to have one coming up. Or we could do something very small, like giving them a workbook they can use and go home with and work on every week that they come back to see us. And you would not believe how much more effectively we sold our packages as a result of these value add-ons. So those are things to keep in mind as well. I love giving gifts. I'm not good at remembering birthdays, but I love giving things to people, especially if they are buying from us. And so, like, for example, with hypnotherapyschool.net, you get book after book. You get an entire hypnotherapy and sales strategy, marketing strategy library in your hand, physical book form, because to me that it just, I don't know, it just makes me feel good to give that, and it makes the person that's receiving it like they are really getting the tools that they need, and they are. So that just, I don't know, it just builds trust, it builds community.
It does. Well, the resources, the books and the resources that we have are written by us and outfitted specifically for hypnotherapists who are wanting to go into business.
Yeah.
So they're highly relevant. They're not just offshoot. Hey, by the way, here's a free blank notebook from Amazon gift card. No, I mean, we do have those types of things that we publish, but we also have hypnotherapy script books and business books and marketing books, stuff that we ourselves have written from our experience owning a hypnotherapy clinic successfully and profitably. So we have relevant tools. The students who have worked with us in years past have specifically, some of them have specifically mentioned that the reason they chose us is because we offered some business coaching.
Yeah, which is not offered anywhere.
Which is not offered anywhere to as far as we understand.
I would say it would be very glazed over if they do mention anything, but it's I've never gotten. I've gone to two different types of hypnotherapy school trainings, and neither of them gave me the type of marketing advice and business advice that we give in our school.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They did that in college for us. There was like a seminar towards the end, and it's like, well, we advise you to get a job. And you're like, well, thanks.
They had a couple of tips trying to fill a void there, but the college didn't exist to help people get jobs.
Right.
I mean, maybe for the upper percentages of higher scoring students, perhaps, but not. But it wasn't a regular thing for everyone to help them. They want to enroll students. They don't really care what happens on the way out. But we do. And as a hypnotherapy school, we have success. We have the knowledge to share about what the best practices are from our many years of helping thousands of clients, and they worked. And as of right now, we're getting ready to publish another book about how to run a successful business using hypnotherapy as a backbone.
Yeah, and get clients.
To get clients, that's right. So there's that, and the other half of answering your question, you said, I don't know why that is. People really love to get something in their hands when they spend money, I found.
Yeah.
And I do, and when you spend money, it's like, especially for a therapy, it feels like, even if you really believe it, money, it feels like, you're kind of putting money away and you're not going to see it again. You are going to get value, but there's something about getting a gift. Maybe it's a lot of Christmases growing up. I don't know. But we used to hand out workbooks back in the day for homework purposes, and boy, they treated those workbooks like their Bible because they paid really, really good money for them, meaning they paid for a package of sessions, and being able to put something in their hands, it strangely validates the purchase to the psychology. Mm-hmm. So do it. Put something in their hand. Put multiple things in their hand, and make them valuable, and make them helpful, and make it so that the client really feels that they're getting a lot of value for their purchase. Anchor in the purchase, right?
Yeah.
We all want to. When we spend money, even when we believe in the person who's going to be serving us, we're still a little bit trepidatious because we just spent a lot of money, and we're hoping we're going to get the value that we just bet on.
Yeah.
So that's up to you to be a great hypnotherapist, and then give them some of that back in the form of homework and worksheets and things you can put in their hands to help them as supplemental tools along the way in therapy, so that they can take responsibility and be accountable, and also to kind of anchor in the fact that, hey, it's okay, I'm with you, we're going to do this together, here's some workbooks, and you have something in your hand, and okay, we are taking a journey together, this is going to be all right. This is going to be good, and it really does help, among other things, to have a gift. And
you don't have to write this workbook yourself. You can go online, find some, life coaching workbooks. You can find some different things like that. You can buy a handful of them and just keep them in your office, at your desk, or wherever you might be working out of, and give them to people who buy a 6-pack or 9-pack or 12-pack and up. And it will significantly make a difference. Not only that, but they are going to have a tool that they're continually working on, and they're going to be top of mind working on this issue that they've come to you for, which I think is really empowering for them. And for you, because you then know, and you can also gauge, are they doing the work? Do I want to sell them another package or not?
Right.
And so you can determine, that you guys are working together, and it's not just you working on them, but they're taking that responsibility. So I know it's like, well, what does that have to do with pricing strategy? Well, the whole point about receiving money and all of the things is to help them to own their healing. You are helping them, you're a helpmate, you're on their journey with them, but they are climbing the mountain, you're just walking beside them and encouraging them. They aren't paying for a result. They are paying for your time. They're paying for your energy. They're paying for your knowledge, for your ability to reframe them. So keep that in mind when you're creating your pricing sheet. They're not paying for a friend. They're not paying for a therapist to fix them. They are paying for your time, and that time is very valuable. You have to decide how much that time is worth to you.
I love that. Great points. Gosh, what do I want to say first? Yes, they're not paying for a result. Therapy is not transactional, it's transformational. So the more you can frame your services as making sure that clients are accountable to doing homework when they're not in the office, the more engaged they're going to be when they're doing the work with you. And the better results they're going to get. So like Kira said, they're not paying you to carry them up the mountain that they need to climb.
Yeah.
They're paying you so that they can transform, having you as their guide and helper, so that you're walking alongside them as they take those steps up that mountain. What are they going to gain if someone carried them up the mountain? A nice view, perhaps, but they're not going to have any fulfillment from it because they didn't have any skin in the game. They weren't emotionally invested in the result. It's not like getting gas where you just pull up and you fill up the tank and then you drive off.
Right.
You have to. Maybe that's a weird analogy, but you're a part of the solution. And in our experience with hypnotherapy, there are hypnotherapists who can be very, very great hypnotherapists and help people with the habit cessation and things like that. When we did work with people, we started with that, but then we ended on doing a lot more of the emotional change work, the stuff with the anxiety and the self-esteem and self-worth and whatnot, the stuff that required people to make an investment in themselves with their time and energy, not just with their debit card, with their time and energy, doing the homework outside of the office, and then coming in and checking in on the homework, and then doing hypnotherapy also as a driving force and a supporter alongside the changes that they were already making and implementing. Yeah. So if hypnotherapy is a tool alongside your path that you're using almost as a supplement, even though that's the primary service, wow, will they find some amazing transformation as a result. But if they're coming in, not doing a damn thing in between sessions, right, and working on something and just wanting to, like it's a spa or something, and just wanting to be worked on, it can help for that. It can be effective, but it's not going to be anywhere near as effective as if the client is emotionally engaged and committed to doing the work. That just means more of their psychology is invested into getting the result. They are going to get the better results because they were more invested. Imagine anything else you've done where you've half-assed it versus when you've tried your hardest.
Right.
Which kinds of results did you do better with? When you're more invested, when you're doing your best. I say the analogy: who gets better results? The person who works their ass off at the gym all day on one Saturday, and then is really sore for the next few days.
I'm great at that. I will work hard for one day.
Be mindful of who you choose for your accountability partners. By the way, or the person who goes to the gym 10 minutes a day, every other day for 30 days.
Yeah.
The second person is going to have way better results, not because they worked out harder, but because they were more consistent, and a lot more processes are happening the body is creating health in between those sessions. It's flushing out fat. You're drawn to eating better foods. Your body's telling you what you're craving as a result of the minerals that get depleted when you're exercising. So time is on your side when you're consistent, because things are healing in between those visits to the gym.
Yeah.
Things are changing and transforming. It's not just about how much time you spent in the gym. It's about the new habits that you form and that you stay consistent to, and how much you are invested in them. So that's the power of accountability, especially when it comes to adding in homework. Not to mention, the first and immediate benefit of homework is finding out whether or not that client is accountable.
Right.
And do they come in with a blank worksheet, or do they come in with both sides filled out with homework? And if we give out, in a lot of cases, we gave out some light homework before we offered a sale. And if that sheet was filled up with words on both sides, that person was a candidate for maybe doing longer term work in terms of a bigger hypnotherapy package. And a lot of times those people turn into all-star clients because they were so invested, and they showed us with their ink on the page that they were invested in the time they were going to put in on themselves.
Yeah.
And that's a really big deal.
It is a big deal. It says a lot. And remember that when you're doing things like intakes and initial sessions, you are qualifying them to see if they are a good fit, if they're a good a client for you to have.
Right.
So pricing is part of it. You do not want to be priced too low. Please do not go beyond your own feeling of minimal thing, because that's the kind of quality of client you will attract.
Right.
And we're not saying, oh, well, they have to be really wealthy, or they have to. No, we're not saying that, because believe me, when someone really wants to work with you, that money will find them. I have seen situations where a client came to me and she's like, I want to do this package, but I can't. I just don't have the money. And I go, okay, I really wish I could work with you, but this is the best that we can do. And when you are able to attract that money, please come back. Within a day, that money had somehow found her, and she was like, okay, I need to sign up for that package. And I'm like, great, let's do it. And she was an excellent client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if people are sometimes in that rare case, they're going to be committed without having money, and they'll find the damn money and come back. That's a wonderful, wonderful example. A lot of the times, people are going to have money and they're going to commit and have the money. In that case, she was committed before having the money, and then the money found her, and that was just a wonderful thing. And I should have said this in the beginning, but it's okay that I'm saying it now. Mm-hmm. And that is, your prices do qualify the type of clientele who are coming to you.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be heavy-handed with this at all. And it's probably good that I say it at the tail end, because your bookended price points for your worthiness that we figured out earlier with the $75 and the $100-something, that is enough, because it coincides with your feelings of worthiness. It will attract the right people for you to work with, whether they are your classroom or whether they are your all-star clients. You're going to get the right people that way. So when I say your prices qualify the clientele, what I mean is, if you're priced below your self-worth, way too low, then you like Kira said, you're probably going to attract clients that are less than ideal, and might not feel like a match, or might be hagglers. I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen in the beginning, especially before you really start zeroing in on what feels right to you. And then it's, in some cases, not as often, but in some cases, some people will price their prices way too high, and people might not feel that they get the right. You won't get any clients, and if you do, they might feel like the service doesn't match the price point.
Oh, they may not come back.
Or they might not come back because it was too expensive.
I love the coaching that I've received from people in the past, but it's, it was outside of what I felt like I wanted to pay. And even though it was great work, they priced me out. I didn't feel good about doing it once a month or even every other week. So I stopped working with them.
Right.
So that's an important thing too. If you're too high, you could price your folks out, and they may buy 1 or 2 sessions, but they may not come back. Right. And the point is that you want them to keep coming back. And listen, this is the only industry this happens in, really. Right? If you go to the grocery store, you don't have people, haggling with you to say, well, I know that this milk is $3, but I really only have $2.50. Can I buy it? And they're going to say no. Or if you don't go to the doctor and haggle with the doctor and say, well, I see that you took out my gallbladder and I see that you charge $5,000, but I really only have 3, so can I just pay 3? They're going to say no. So, because I've already done the service, or whatever. And so that's something to keep in mind as well when we're working with your self-worth around pricing, is that it's okay to charge for your time, charge for your energy, charge for what your expertise is in this, because there's nowhere in this world that says that unless you're a car salesman, you should not be getting haggled with as well. And so if your self-worth, if you've dropped that price down below that median that you discovered for yourself, you will probably get hagglers. I have experienced that in my life too. Mm-hmm.
And you might get hagglers if your business doesn't look professional.
Mm-hmm.
And like
they
if
look like they can take advantage of you.
Right. If a haggler can smell like they can take advantage of you, then they might try.
And they can be very innocent in it. It's just their personality. It's just kind of who they are, and that's how they always do. They never believe that that price is the bottom price. They believe they can, but
completely
don't let them do it. Don't do a sliding scale. Don't let them do it because if they haggle in that way, they're going to haggle in other ways in your business relationship. Meaning, they may not be doing the work. They may not come back with their worksheets.
They're going to think they're going to think they're in the driver's seat.
Oh yes, that's the biggest point.
If you acquiesce their request, then on one thing, and you think you're doing a favor, but really what you're doing is you're giving them the power to make decisions about their therapy in your business. Then you can expect that they're going to bully you on other things, or maybe not bully you, but think that they have some power over you, and that should never be communicated. It's always everything that you're willing to do with your prices or anything in your business should be pre-set by you before the client walks in.
Printed on a sheet of paper.
Printed is better because it's less negotiable in their minds if it is printed. Yep. So like she said, hagglers can be vicious or they can be innocent. If they're vicious, just turn them around right out the door. Don't let them sit.
Goodbye.
If they're innocent, that's okay. I mean, some people are just like that from many years of conditioning, but that doesn't mean anything up to you. You have your policies and your standards before they even walk in the door, so that everything is a preset yes or no. Essentially, there's no thinking about what are you going to do. You don't make any business decisions in front of a client.
Yeah.
If that's happening, stop it immediately and just you'll learn, because it won't feel right.
It'll bite you.
It'll bite you in the ass. And then you'll realize, oh, you know what? I really need to do this on my own, and then come back and have an answer ready. Anything the client asks should basically be pre-answered. In terms of prices or an FAQ on your website. I mean, this is how you flesh out your business and answer questions without having to spend so much of your time, because your time is money. Another quick qualifier on price point is cost of doing business. If you have an office which again looks more professional and attracts higher quality clientele than working out of your house sometimes, then you have to pay costs regardless, right? Yeah. Every day costs a certain amount of money because you pay rent every month. So you have to price your prices to at least cover costs and break even, not to mention have some profit in it for you so you can have a meal as a
right.
So you can enjoy your life
on your table.
Yes.
Enjoy your life.
Yeah, yes. reach your financial goals for yourself over and above paying expenses for your business.
Right. It's so important. So I think that we have really, this is a little short masterclass even in pricing.
Yeah, I feel right at the beginning I was like, I think we're giving away too much here.
Well, I think that you guys can see as you're listening here that at Hypnotherapy School, we are going to be pretty thorough.
We are very thorough.
Yeah, hypnotherapyschool.net. We're going to help you to, even if you already have a practice or something you're working with and you're wanting to, let's say you're going from a Reiki certification or an AFT certification, or even going from being a massage therapist, that we're not going to just teach you clinical hypnosis. We are going to help you to build your business in a way that's going to be very foundational and help you to move past any of those mental limitations that you may have that are keeping you from asking for the sale, keeping you from, making money, making good money as a practitioner, because you really do deserve that.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This is an overview of that pricing. Please, please, please have your pricing already set up before you see your clients. Avoid the disastrous $10 session that I experienced, and or worse, free somehow. Let them put skin in the game, and we have lots of other strategies that you can use that we do teach at hypnotherapyschool.net, and you can definitely learn from us. We can help you to build that business that you've been wanting. Well, I'm Kira Schaefer, and with me is also
Todd Schaefer.
So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.